The phone rang at exactly 9:47. Maya was clearing table 6 when she heard it.
She glanced at it. So did Vincent Corso.
Back office doing paperwork. The other server had gone home 20 minutes ago.
The phone rang a 4th time. Maya walked behind the counter and picked it up.
Bella Vista, how can I help you?
Hello?
Is Vincent there?
Is Vincent there?
The phone rang at exactly 9:47. Maya was clearing table 6 when she heard it. Not her phone. The restaurant's landline, the one that hardly ever rang because everyone called cell phones now. She glanced at it. So did Vincent Corso. He was sitting at the corner booth with 3 men in dark suits. They'd been there for an hour, talking in low voices, occasionally glancing around the dining room like they were checking to see who was watching. Maya had been a waitress long enough to recognize certain types of customers. The ones who didn't want to be bothered. The ones who paid in cash. The ones who made everyone else in the room nervous without saying a word. Vincent Corso was all 3. The phone kept ringing. Maya's manager, Tom, was in the back office doing paperwork. The other server had gone home 20 minutes ago. It was just Maya and the cook and 4 tables of customers who were finishing their meals. The phone rang a 4th time. Maya walked behind the counter and picked it up. Bella Vista, how can I help you? There was silence on the other end. Not empty silence. The kind where someone was there but not speaking. Hello? Maya said. Is Vincent there? A man's voice. Rough. Urgent. Maya looked at Vincent Corso. He was watching her now, his conversation paused. I'm sorry, we don't give out information about our guests, Maya said. This is important. Tell him Carlo needs to speak with him. Now. Maya hesitated. Every instinct told her to hang up. To say she couldn't help. To go back to clearing tables and pretend this call never happened. But Vincent was still watching her. And something in the caller's voice suggested this wasn't a request. One moment, Maya said. She covered the receiver and walked over to Vincent's table. The 3 men with him stopped talking. Excuse me, sir. There's a call for you. Someone named Carlo. Vincent's expression didn't change, but something shifted behind his eyes. He looked at the men across from him, then back at Maya. Take a message, he said. Maya returned to the phone. I'm sorry, but he's. Put him on the phone right now or people are going to die. Maya's hand tightened on the receiver. The man wasn't shouting. His voice was calm, matter-of-fact, which somehow made it worse. She looked at Vincent again. He was leaning back in the booth, completely relaxed, like he had nowhere to be and nothing to worry about. Maya made a decision. She walked back to his table. Sir, he says it's urgent. He says people will, she stopped, aware of the other customers nearby. He says you need to take this call. Vincent studied her face. Then he stood, slowly, and walked to the counter. The 3 men in the booth watched him go. Maya handed him the phone and stepped away, giving him privacy but close enough to hear. What? Vincent said into the receiver. Not a question. A statement. Maya couldn't hear the other end of the conversation, but she watched Vincent's face. It remained perfectly neutral for about 10 seconds. Then his jaw tightened. His free hand curled into a fist. Where, he said. More silence. How many? More silence. I'll handle it. He hung up without saying goodbye. He stood there for a moment, still holding the receiver, staring at nothing. Then he looked at Maya. Really looked at her. Not the way customers usually looked at servers, through them, past them, barely registering they existed. This was different. This was assessment. Calculation. What's your name? He asked. Maya. Maya. He repeated it like he was filing it away. You from around here? Yes, sir. You work here long? 3 years. He nodded slowly. You got family? People who depend on you? The question made Maya's skin prickle. Why are you asking me that? Vincent didn't answer. He just looked at her for another long moment, then walked back to his booth. He said something to the 3 men. They stood immediately. One of them left cash on the table, more than enough to cover the bill and tip. They walked out without another word. Maya watched through the window as they got into a black sedan and drove away. She stood there, her heart beating faster than it should, trying to understand what had just happened. Tom emerged from the back office. Was that the phone? Who called? Wrong number, Maya said. She didn't know why she lied. She just knew that whatever she'd just witnessed, whatever that phone call had been about, she didn't want to be part of it. The restaurant closed at 11. Maya finished her side work, counted her tips, and walked to her car in the back lot. It was dark. The streetlight near her car was out. It had been out for 2 weeks, and she'd been meaning to park somewhere else, but tonight she'd forgotten. She was halfway to her car when she saw him. A man standing beside her driver's door. Young, maybe 25, wearing a dark jacket and jeans. He was looking at his phone, but Maya could tell he was aware of her approaching. She stopped walking. The man looked up. Maya. She didn't answer. She just stood there, calculating distances. The restaurant door was 30 feet behind her. Her car was 20 feet ahead. The street was another 50 feet past that. Vincent sent me, the man said. He wants to talk to you. I'm off the clock. It's not about work. It's about the phone call. I don't know anything about that. He knows. But he still wants to talk. Maya's hand moved toward her phone in her pocket. The man noticed. I'm not here to hurt you, he said. I'm just delivering a message. Vincent would like to meet with you tomorrow. Noon. There's a cafe on Market Street, 3 blocks from here. The one with the blue awning. And if I don't want to meet with him? The man shrugged. Then don't. It's an invitation, not a summons. He walked past her toward a motorcycle parked on the street. He got on, started it, and drove away without looking back. Maya stood in the parking lot for a full minute before her legs started working again. She got in her car, locked the doors, and sat there with her hands on the steering wheel, trying to steady her breathing. She'd lived in this city her whole life. She knew what Vincent Corso was. Everyone knew. You didn't run the kind of businesses he ran, have the kind of reputation he had, without people knowing exactly what you were. And now he wanted to meet with her. Because she'd answered a phone call. Maya drove home and didn't sleep. At 11:55 the next morning, Maya stood outside the cafe with the blue awning. She'd told herself she wasn't going to come. She'd spent the whole night and morning convincing herself that the smart thing to do was ignore the invitation and hope Vincent Corso forgot about her. But at 11:30, she'd gotten dressed and left her apartment. Because the truth was, she needed to know. Needed to understand what that phone call had been about. Why it had made Vincent look the way it did. Why he wanted to talk to her. She pushed open the cafe door. Vincent was sitting at a table in the back corner, facing the door. He was alone. No bodyguards. No men in dark suits. Just him, drinking coffee and reading a newspaper like he was any other customer. He looked up when she entered. He didn't smile, but he nodded toward the empty chair across from him. Maya walked over and sat down. You came, Vincent said. You asked. I invited. There's a difference. He folded the newspaper and set it aside. You want coffee? Food? I want to know why I'm here. Vincent leaned back in his chair. Last night, you answered a phone call. You could have told the man I wasn't there. You could have taken a message and thrown it away. But you didn't. You made sure I got the call. Why? Maya thought about lying. But something told her Vincent Corso would know. He said people would die if you didn't take it. And you believed him? I didn't know what to believe. But I wasn't going to take that chance. Vincent nodded slowly. That call. It was about my nephew. He was being held by people who wanted to send me a message. If I hadn't taken that call, if I hadn't known where he was. He trailed off. My nephew is alive because you made sure I got that phone call. Maya felt something cold settle in her stomach. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. But you did it anyway. That's what matters. So what happens now? Now I owe you a debt. I don't want anything from you. That's not how this works. In my world, debts get paid. Whether you want them to or not. He pulled an envelope from his jacket and slid it across the table. That's $20,000. For saving my nephew's life. Maya stared at the envelope. She didn't touch it. I can't take that. You can. You should. You earned it. I answered a phone. That's my job. Your job is to serve food. You went beyond that. You deserve to be compensated. Maya looked at Vincent. At this man who controlled half the illegal activity in the city. Who had people killed. Who operated outside every law that mattered. If I take that money, what does that make me? She asked quietly. Vincent's expression softened. Just slightly. It makes you someone who helped save a kid's life. Nothing more, nothing less. And what do you get out of it? Peace of mind. The knowledge that my debt is paid. Maya looked at the envelope again. $20,000. That was 6 months of rent. A year of student loans. The surgery her mother needed but couldn't afford. It was everything. And it was also a trap. Because money like this always came with strings. Always tied you to people you didn't want to be tied to. Always changed who you were in ways you couldn't predict. I need to think about it, Maya said. Take your time. The money's yours whenever you want it. Vincent stood. But Maya. One more thing. What? The people who had my nephew. They're still out there. And they're not happy that their plan failed. They're going to be looking for weaknesses. Ways to get to me. He paused. You made yourself visible last night. You made yourself relevant. That means you might become a target. Maya felt her throat tighten. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you. There's a difference. He put cash on the table for the coffee. If anyone approaches you, anyone asks questions about me or that phone call, you tell them nothing. And you call this number. He handed her a business card. There was nothing on it except a phone number. I don't want to be part of your world, Maya said. You're not. But you're adjacent to it now. And that's enough to make you vulnerable. He looked at her directly. I'm trying to protect you. Whether you believe that or not is up to you. He left. Maya sat there alone, staring at the envelope on the table. She thought about taking it. About walking away and pretending this conversation never happened. Instead, she left the envelope on the table and walked out. The next 3 days were normal. Maya worked her shifts at Bella Vista. She served food, cleared tables, smiled at customers. Nothing unusual happened. No mysterious phone calls. No men in dark suits. No messages from Vincent Corso. She started to think maybe it was over. Maybe Vincent had moved on. Maybe she could forget about all of this. Then on the 4th day, a man came into the restaurant. He was in his 40s, well-dressed, with a polite smile and easy manner. He sat at the bar and ordered a glass of wine. Maya wasn't serving the bar that night, but she noticed him because he kept looking around the restaurant. Not obviously. Just casual glances. Taking everything in. After about 20 minutes, he called Maya over. "Excuse me, miss. I'm looking for someone. A friend of mine said he comes here sometimes. Older gentleman, gray hair, usually sits in that corner booth." He pointed to where Vincent had been sitting 4 nights ago. Maya felt her pulse quicken. "I'm sorry, I don't know who you're talking about." "His name is Vincent. Vincent Corso. You know him?" Every instinct told Maya to say no. To walk away. To get Tom from the back office. Instead, she kept her expression neutral. "We have a lot of customers. I don't know everyone by name." "Of course. But this man, he's distinctive. Very memorable. You'd remember him if you'd seen him." "I'm sorry, I can't help you." The man smiled. "That's okay. Maybe I'll just wait here a bit. See if he shows up." He didn't leave. For the next 2 hours, he sat at the bar, nursing his wine, watching the door. Watching Maya. When her shift ended, Maya went to the back office. Tom was counting receipts. "There's a man at the bar," Maya said quietly. "He's been asking about one of our customers." Tom looked up. "What kind of questions?" "Personal questions. About whether the customer comes here regularly. Where he sits." Tom's expression changed. He'd been managing Bella Vista for 15 years. He knew exactly what kind of customers came through. And he knew when something was wrong. "Which customer?" he asked. Maya hesitated. Then she said, "Vincent Corso." Tom closed the cash drawer. "Go home. Through the back door. I'll handle this." "Tom." "Now, Maya." She left through the back door, got in her car, and drove 3 blocks before she pulled over and took out her phone. She stared at the business card Vincent had given her. Just a phone number. No name. No context. She dialed. Vincent answered on the first ring. "Maya. There was a man at the restaurant. Asking about you." "What did he look like?" She described him. Vincent was quiet for a moment. "Where are you now?" "In my car. 3 blocks from work." "Stay there. Lock your doors. I'm sending someone to you." "I don't need." "Lock your doors, Maya." He hung up. Maya locked her doors and waited. 10 minutes later, a car pulled up beside hers. The passenger window rolled down. It was the same young man who'd approached her in the parking lot 3 nights ago. "Follow me," he said. "Where?" "Somewhere safe." Maya wanted to argue. Wanted to say she could take care of herself. But the look in the young man's eyes suggested this wasn't optional. She followed him. They drove for 20 minutes, into a part of the city Maya didn't know well. Industrial buildings. Warehouses. Not many streetlights. The young man pulled into a parking garage beneath a nondescript office building. Maya followed. He led her to an elevator and pressed the button for the 5th floor. They rode up in silence. The elevator opened into a hallway. At the end was a single door. The young man knocked twice, then once, then twice again. The door opened. Vincent stood there. Behind him was a large, open loft apartment. Exposed brick. High ceilings. Expensive furniture that looked like no one actually lived there. "Come in," Vincent said. Maya stepped inside. The young man stayed in the hallway. Vincent closed the door. "Sit," Vincent said, gesturing to a leather couch. Maya sat. Vincent remained standing. "The man who came to the restaurant," Vincent said. "His name is Marco Ferrante. He works for the people who took my nephew. The people who wanted to send me a message." "Why was he looking for you?" "Because they know someone warned me. They know someone helped me get the information I needed to find my nephew. They just don't know who. And now they think it's me." Now they're investigating possibilities. You're one of them. Maya felt her hands start to shake. She pressed them together to make them stop. What do I do? Nothing. You do nothing. You go to work. You live your life. You don't change your routine. And if anyone asks you questions, you tell them the truth, you don't know anything. But they won't believe me. Maybe not. But as long as they're not sure, they won't do anything. These people are cautious. They don't make moves without certainty. And when they become certain, Vincent looked at her. I won't let it get that far. How? That's not your concern. Maya stood up. You're wrong. It is my concern. Because I'm the one they're investigating. I'm the one whose life just got turned upside down because I answered a goddamn phone call. I know. And I'm sorry. But this is the situation we're in. We? There is no we. There's you and your world, and there's me trying to survive it. You're right. But surviving it means trusting me. At least for now. Maya wanted to argue. Wanted to scream. Wanted to walk out and never look back. But she knew Vincent was right. She was in this now. Whether she wanted to be or not. How long, she asked quietly. How long until I can go back to normal? I don't know. A week. Maybe 2. Depends on how quickly I can resolve this. Resolve this how? Vincent didn't answer. He didn't need to. Maya could imagine. I don't want anyone to die because of me, she said. They won't die because of you. They'll die because of choices they made. Actions they took. That's not the same thing. In my world, it is. Maya sat back down. She felt exhausted. Like she'd been running for miles and just realized she had miles more to go. I need to call my mother, she said. Tell her I'm okay. You can call her. But don't tell her where you are. Don't tell her anything about this situation. She'll know something's wrong. Then tell her it's work trouble. Tell her anything except the truth. Maya pulled out her phone and called her mother. The conversation lasted 3 minutes. She lied through all of them. When she hung up, she felt worse than before. There's a bedroom through that door, Vincent said, pointing. You should get some rest. I'm not staying here. You are. At least tonight. Tomorrow we'll reassess. You can't keep me here. I'm not keeping you anywhere. I'm protecting you. There's a difference. Maya looked at him. At this man who'd inserted himself into her life without asking. Who'd made her a target. Who now claimed to be protecting her. I don't trust you, she said. Good. You shouldn't. But right now, I'm all you've got. He was right. Maya hated that he was right. She went to the bedroom and closed the door. It was simple. Clean. A bed, a dresser, a window with blackout curtains. She sat on the bed and tried to think. 24 hours ago, her biggest worry was making rent. Now she was hiding in a safe house, waiting for dangerous people to decide whether or not she was a threat. All because she'd answered a phone call. All because she'd tried to help. Maya lay down on the bed fully clothed and closed her eyes. She didn't expect to sleep. But eventually, exhaustion won. When she woke up, sunlight was filtering through the edges of the blackout curtains. She checked her phone. 8:30 a.m. She'd slept for almost 10 hours. She opened the bedroom door. The loft was empty. No Vincent. No bodyguards. Just silence. On the kitchen counter was a note. Went to handle some business. Stay here. Don't leave. Don't answer the door unless you hear 3 knocks, then 1, then 2. There's food in the fridge. V. Maya read the note twice, then crumpled it up. She was not staying here. She was not hiding. She was going to work, living her life, and pretending everything was normal. Just like Vincent had told her to. She left the loft, took the elevator down to the parking garage, and got in her car. She was halfway to her apartment when her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her pick up. Hello? Maya. A man's voice. Not Vincent. Someone else. We need to talk. Who is this? A friend. Someone who wants to help you. I don't need help. Yes, you do. Vincent Corso is using you. He's made you a target to protect himself. But I can keep you safe. All you have to do is meet with me. I'm not meeting anyone. Even if I can guarantee your safety? Even if I can make sure Marco Ferrante never bothers you again? Maya's hand tightened on the steering wheel. How do you know about Marco? I know everything, Maya. I know about the phone call. I know about Vincent's nephew. I know that you're caught in the middle of something you don't understand. But I can help you. I can get you out. What do you want from me? Just information. Tell me what you know about Vincent Corso. Tell me about the phone call. Tell me everything, and I promise you'll be safe. Maya pulled over to the side of the road. Her heart was pounding. Who are you? She asked. Someone who understands that you're innocent in all this. Someone who believes you deserve a way out. If you want to help me, tell me who you are. The man was quiet for a moment. Then he said, meet me at Lincoln Park in 1 hour. The bench by the fountain. Come alone. If you don't come, I can't protect you from what's coming. He hung up. Maya sat in her car, staring at her phone. This was a trap. It had to be. Someone trying to get information. Someone trying to use her. But what if it wasn't? What if this person really could help her? What if they could make all of this go away? She looked at the time. 9:15. She had 45 minutes to decide. She picked up her phone and dialed Vincent's number. It went straight to voicemail. She tried again. Same result. She was on her own. Maya sat there for 5 more minutes, weighing her options. Then she made a decision. She drove to Lincoln Park. The park was quiet. A few joggers. A woman walking a dog. An old man feeding pigeons. Maya walked to the bench by the fountain and sat down. She waited. At exactly 10 o'clock, a man approached. He was in his 50s, gray hair, expensive coat. He looked like a businessman. Respectable. Safe. He sat down beside her. Thank you for coming, he said. Who are you? My name is Robert Chen. I'm an attorney. Whose attorney? That's complicated. Let's just say I represent people who have interests that occasionally conflict with Vincent Corso's interests. You work for the people who took his nephew. Robert smiled. I work for people who believe Vincent has been operating without consequences for too long. People who want to change that. By kidnapping a child? By sending a message. Unfortunately, that message was intercepted. By you. Maya stood up. I'm leaving. Please. Sit. I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to offer you a choice. Against her better judgment, Maya sat back down. What choice? You can continue to trust Vincent Corso. You can believe that he'll protect you. You can hope that when this is all over, you'll still have a normal life. Robert paused. Or you can help us. Tell us what you know. And in return, we'll make sure you're never touched. We'll make sure Vincent can never use you again. What makes you think Vincent is using me? Because that's what he does. He finds people who are useful, and he uses them until they're not useful anymore. Then he discards them. You're not special to him, Maya. You're a tool. And what am I to you? An opportunity. Help us build a case against Vincent Corso. Testify about what you saw, what you heard. And we'll protect you. Federal protection. New identity if you want it. A fresh start. Maya looked at Robert Chen. At this man who claimed to offer her safety. Freedom. A way out. I don't know anything, she said. I answered a phone call. That's all. But you know the date and time of that call. You know who called. You know what Vincent's reaction was. That's evidence. That's useful. Useful for putting him in prison? Useful for stopping a man who's been operating outside the law for 20 years. Maya thought about Vincent. About the way he'd looked at her in the restaurant. About the money he'd offered. About the protection he'd promised. She thought about the life she'd had before all of this. Simple. Safe. Ordinary. She wanted that life back. What do you need from me? She asked quietly. Robert Chen smiled. Just the truth. Robert Chen pulled out a small recording device and set it on the bench between them. Tell me about the night of the phone call, he said. Start from the beginning. Maya stared at the recorder. It was small, silver, professional. The kind of thing that would hold up in court. The kind of thing that would make her a witness. I need to think about this, she said. There's nothing to think about. You tell the truth, we protect you, everyone moves on with their lives. Except Vincent Corso. Except the man who put you in danger in the first place. Yes. Maya picked up the recorder and turned it over in her hands. It was heavier than it looked. If I do this, she said slowly, what happens to me? Really? We put you in witness protection until the trial. After that, you can stay in the program or leave. Your choice. And my mother? My job? My life? Your mother can be protected too if necessary. Your job, you'll have to leave it. But we'll provide financial support until you're on your feet again. How much support? Enough to live comfortably. More than you're making now as a waitress, I can promise you that. Maya set the recorder back down on the bench. This isn't about justice for you. This is about taking down a rival. Does it matter? Either way, Vincent Corso faces consequences. Either way, you get your life back. Do I? Because it sounds like I lose everything and get a different life. That's not the same thing. Robert's expression hardened slightly. Maya, I'm trying to help you. But I need you to understand something. This situation doesn't end well for you if you stay loyal to Vincent. The people he's fighting, they're not going to stop looking for weaknesses. And you're a weakness now. Whether you cooperate with us or not. Are you threatening me? I'm explaining reality. Vincent can't protect you forever. Eventually, he'll make a calculation. Your safety versus his interests. And when that happens, you won't like the outcome. Maya stood up. I need to go. Maya. I said I need to think about it. Give me your number. I'll call you. Robert hesitated, then pulled out a business card. Real one this time, with his name and law firm printed on it. He wrote a number on the back. Call me by tomorrow, he said. After that, the offer expires. Why? Because after that, things are going to move quickly. And you'll need to have chosen a side. Maya took the card and walked away. She made it halfway across the park before her legs started shaking so badly she had to sit down on another bench. She'd just met with Vincent's enemies. She'd listened to their offer. She'd taken their card. If Vincent found out, what would he do? And if she didn't cooperate, what would Robert Chan and his people do? She was trapped. Caught between two forces that didn't care about her except for what she could give them. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Where are you? V. Maya stared at the message. Vincent's voicemail had said he was handling business. Now he was looking for her. She typed back, "I left the loft. I'm fine." The response came immediately, "Where?" Maya looked around the park. Joggers. Dog walkers. Normal people living normal lives. She typed, "Lincoln Park." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then, "Stay there. I'm coming." Maya waited. 15 minutes later, the same young man from before appeared. He walked directly to her bench. "Vincent wants you back at the loft," he said. "I'm not going back. He said you'd say that. He also said to tell you that Marco Ferrante was spotted 3 blocks from your apartment this morning. And that your mother's house is being watched." Maya felt ice in her veins. What? They're making moves. Vincent needs you somewhere he can control. Somewhere safe. My mother is fine. Vincent has people watching her. But you need to come with me. Now. Maya stood. She didn't have a choice anymore. If her mother was in danger. She followed the young man to his car. They drove back to the loft in silence. When they arrived, Vincent was waiting. He looked different than before. Tired. Stressed. The careful composure was cracking. "Why did you leave?" he asked as soon as Maya walked in. "Because I'm not a prisoner." "I never said you were. You told me to stay here. You left a note. For your protection. Or for your convenience." Maya pulled out Robert Chen's business card. "I got a call this morning. From an attorney named Robert Chen. He wanted to meet." Vincent's expression went cold. "And you went?" "I wanted to hear what he had to say." "What did he offer you?" "Protection. A new life. Money. Everything you offered, but without the danger." "And what did he want in return?" "Information about you. About the phone call. He wanted me to testify." Vincent walked to the window and looked out at the city. "What did you tell him?" "Nothing. I took his card and left." "But you're considering it." "It wasn't a question." Maya didn't deny it. "Why shouldn't I? You said yourself I'm a target now. At least with them, I'd be protected. I'd have federal agents instead of," she gestured at the young man standing by the door. "Instead of your people. My people have kept you alive for the past 4 days. Your people are the reason I'm in danger in the first place." Vincent turned to face her. "You think Robert Chan and his employers are better? You think they care about you?" "No. But at least they're honest about what they want. They want to use you to take me down. And the moment you're not useful anymore, they'll abandon you. That's how federal protection works. You testify, you disappear, and you spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder wondering if your new identity held. As opposed to what? Staying here and hoping you don't make the calculation Robert said you would? The one where my safety stops being worth the trouble?" Vincent's jaw tightened. "Is that what you think I'd do?" "I don't know. I don't know anything about you except that you're dangerous and you've pulled me into something I never asked to be part of." "You're right. You never asked for this. But here we are. And I'm trying to keep you alive." "Why?" The question seemed to surprise him. "What? Why are you trying to keep me alive? You paid your debt. You offered me money. I didn't take it. So why am I still your problem?" Vincent was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Because you saved my nephew. Because you didn't have to, and you did anyway. Because in my world, that means something. In your world. Not in mine. Your world and mine aren't as separate as you think." "Yes, they are. I serve food. You," she stopped, not wanting to say it out loud. "I hurt people," Vincent finished. I break laws. I operate outside the system. Is that what you want to say? Yes. You're not wrong. But what you don't understand is that the people Robert Chen represents, they're not better. They just have badges and legal authority. They hurt people too. They just do it within the system. That's not the same thing. Isn't it? Tell me, Maya. If I go to prison, what happens to the 50 people who work legitimate jobs for my legitimate businesses? What happens to the families I support? The neighborhoods I protect from worse things than me? You're not protecting anyone. You're protecting yourself. Maybe. But those people still benefit. And if I go down, they go down with me. Is that justice? Maya didn't have an answer for that. Vincent walked closer to her. Not threatening. Just closer. I'm not asking you to like me, he said quietly. I'm not asking you to approve of what I do. I'm asking you to trust me for one more week. Let me resolve this situation. Let me make sure you're safe. Then you can walk away and never think about me again. And if I don't? If I call Robert Chen right now and tell him I'll cooperate? Then you'll spend the rest of your life in witness protection. You'll lose your name, your home, your mother, your friends. Everything. And for what? To put one man in prison while 10 others take his place? At least I'd be safe. You'd be hidden. That's not the same as safe. Maya looked at Vincent. At this man who'd built his life on violence and control. Who now stood in front of her asking for trust. She thought about her mother. About the house being watched. About Marco Ferrante 3 blocks from her apartment. She thought about Robert Chan and his promises. About federal protection and new identities and starting over. Both choices felt wrong. Both choices felt like losing. 1 week, she said finally. You have 1 week to resolve this. After that, I make my own decision. Vincent nodded. That's all I'm asking. Over the next 3 days, Maya stayed in the loft. She didn't want to. But every time she thought about leaving, Vincent showed her something new. Photos of men watching her apartment. Reports of someone asking questions about her at the grocery store. Evidence that the people looking for her were getting closer. So she stayed. And she watched Vincent work. He made calls. Lots of calls. In English, in Italian, in languages Maya didn't recognize. He met with people who came to the loft at odd hours. He studied maps and files and photographs. He was planning something. On the 4th day, Maya asked him about it. What are you going to do? To make this go away? Vincent looked up from the map he'd been studying. It's better if you don't know. People are going to die, aren't they? Some people have already died. This isn't new. But it's happening because of me. It's happening because of choices other people made. You're just the catalyst. That doesn't make me feel better. Vincent set down his pen. What do you want me to say, Maya? That this will end without violence? I can't promise you that. This is who I am. This is what I do. You could stop. I could. And then someone worse would take my place. And all the people I protect would suffer. You keep saying you protect people. But all I see is danger. That's because you're seeing one part of the picture. You're not seeing the neighborhoods where my money keeps the lights on. The businesses I've kept from being swallowed by bigger predators. The families who know that if something happens, they can call me and I'll help. That's not legal. No. It's not. But it's real. And it matters to the people it affects. Maya didn't know what to say to that. She'd spent her whole life believing in clear lines. Good people. Bad people. Right and wrong. But Vincent existed in the space between. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She lay in the bedroom, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened. About the phone call that had started all of this. About the choices she'd made since. About the choice she still had to make. At 2 a.m., she got up and walked into the main room. Vincent was sitting on the couch, reading something on his laptop. "Can't sleep?" he asked without looking up. "No. Me neither." Maya sat down in the chair across from him. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Your nephew. The one who was taken. Is he okay?" Vincent closed the laptop. "He's fine. Shaken up, but physically unharmed." "Where is he now?" "With his mother. My sister. In a house I own upstate. Protected." "Does he know what you do?" "What you are?" "He's 7. He knows I help people. That's enough for now. What happens when he gets older? When he starts asking questions? I'll tell him the truth. And I'll give him a choice. This life or a different one. And if he chooses this life, then I'll teach him to do it better than I did. To make different choices. To find a way to help people without hurting as many others." Maya looked at Vincent in the dim light of the loft. "Do you really believe that's possible?" "I have to. Otherwise, what's the point?" They sat in silence for a while. Then Maya said, "Tomorrow is day 5. "I know. Are you close to resolving this?" "Yes." "What's going to happen?" Vincent looked at her directly. "Tomorrow night, I'm meeting with the people who took my nephew. We're going to reach an understanding." "An understanding?" "They're going to agree to leave you alone. To forget they ever knew your name. And in return, I'm going to make certain concessions." "What kind of concessions?" "The kind that cost me. But less than losing you would cost my conscience." Maya felt something shift in her chest. "I'm not your responsibility." "No. But you became my concern the moment you answered that phone." "I don't abandon my concerns. Even when it would be easier?" "Especially then." The next day passed slowly. Vincent was gone most of the afternoon. The young man, Maya had learned his name was Danny, stayed with her at the loft. "Is he going to be okay?" Maya asked around 4 p.m. Danny looked up from his phone. "Vincent?" "He's always okay." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I've got." "Vincent's been doing this longer than I've been alive. He knows how to handle himself. But these people, they took his nephew. They're not going to just back down. They will if the cost of not backing down is too high." "What does that mean?" Danny looked at her. "It means Vincent is very good at making the cost too high." At 7 p.m., Vincent returned to the loft. He looked exhausted but calm. He went to the kitchen, poured himself a drink, and sat down at the table. "It's done," he said. Maya walked over. "What's done?" "The situation. It's resolved." "How?" "I made a deal. I gave them something they wanted more than revenge. And they agreed to forget about you. Forget about the phone call. Move on. Just like that?" "Just like that." "I don't believe you." Vincent smiled tiredly. "Smart. You shouldn't. But it's true. As of right now, you're no longer of interest to them. You're nobody. Just a waitress who answered a phone." Maya sat down across from him. "What did you give them?" "That's not your concern." "Vincent." "I'm serious, Maya. This is finished. You're safe. That's all you need to know. And what happens to me now? You go back to your life. You go back to work. You see your mother. You do whatever you were doing before all of this started." "Just like that?" "Just like that." Maya wanted to believe him. Wanted to trust that it was really over. But something felt wrong. "What about Robert Chen?" she asked. What about the federal investigation? That's my problem, not yours. But if I'm a witness? You're not a witness. You don't know anything useful. They'll realize that eventually and move on. And if they don't? Vincent leaned forward. Then you tell them the truth. You answered a phone call. You don't know who called. You don't know what was said. You don't know anything about my business. That's it. That's your story. Is that the truth? Close enough. Maya looked at Vincent. At this man who'd controlled every aspect of her life for the past 5 days. Who now claimed to be setting her free. I don't understand you, she said quietly. You don't have to. You just have to trust that I meant what I said. You're safe now. And you can leave whenever you want. Maya stood up. Then I'm leaving. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? You've been wanting to leave since you got here. Now you can. So go. Maya grabbed her bag. She walked to the door. She put her hand on the handle. Then she stopped. Thank you, she said without turning around. For what? For keeping me alive. You kept my nephew alive. We're even. Maya left. She took the elevator down to the parking garage, got in her car, and drove home. Her apartment looked exactly the same as when she'd left it 5 days ago. But it felt different. Smaller. Less safe. She locked the door, checked the windows, and sat down on her couch. She waited for something to happen. Nothing did. The next day, Maya went to work. Tom looked surprised to see her. Maya. Are you okay? You disappeared for almost a week. I'm sorry. Family emergency. Is everything all right now? Yes. Everything's fine. It wasn't fine. But it was close enough. She worked her shift. She served food. She cleared tables. She smiled at customers. Everything was normal. Except for the way she watched the door. The way she tensed every time her phone rang. The way she couldn't quite shake the feeling that it wasn't really over. At the end of her shift, Tom called her into the office. There were some men here while you were gone, he said. Asking about you. Maya's stomach dropped. What kind of men? Professional. Serious. They showed badges. FBI, I think. They wanted to know about your relationship with Vincent Corso. What did you tell them? The truth. That you're a waitress. That Vincent comes in sometimes. That I've never seen you interact with him beyond taking his order. Did they believe you? I don't know. They left their card. Said you should call them when you came back. He handed her a business card. It wasn't Robert Chen's. It was someone else. Agent Sarah Morales, FBI. Maya pocketed the card. Thanks for telling me. Maya, I don't know what you're involved in. And I don't want to know. But be careful. I will. That night, Maya called the number on the card. Agent Morales answered on the third ring. This is Maya Williams. You came to my workplace asking about me. Miss Williams. Thank you for calling. I'd like to ask you some questions about Vincent Corso. I don't know anything about him. You work at a restaurant he frequents. You must have some information. I serve him food sometimes. That's all. We have reason to believe you're more involved than that. We know about the phone call. Maya felt her heart skip. What phone call? The one you answered for him. The one that tipped him off about his nephew's location. I answered a call at work. Someone asked for a customer. I delivered the message. That's not a crime. No, but it makes you a material witness. And we'd like you to come in for an official interview. Am I required to? Not yet. But if you refuse to cooperate voluntarily, we can compel your testimony. I'd rather not do that. I need to think about it. Miss Williams, I know you're scared. I know Vincent Corso is intimidating. But we can protect you. We can. I said I need to think about it. Maya hung up. She sat on her couch, staring at her phone, trying to decide what to do. Vincent had said it was over. That she was safe. That she could go back to her normal life. But the FBI didn't know it was over. They were still investigating. Still asking questions. And if they kept asking, eventually they'd find answers. Maya thought about calling Vincent. About asking him what to do. But she didn't. Because she realized something. This wasn't his choice to make anymore. It was hers. 2 days later, Maya met with Agent Morales. They sat in a small coffee shop, the same one where Vincent had given her the envelope of money. Thank you for agreeing to meet, Agent Morales said. I'm not agreeing to anything. I'm just listening. Fair enough. Let me tell you what we know. Vincent Corso runs one of the largest criminal organizations in the city. Illegal gambling, money laundering, extortion. We've been investigating him for 3 years. But every time we get close, witnesses disappear. Evidence vanishes. People stop cooperating. So we need someone who can't be intimidated. Someone who has no ties to his organization. Someone who can testify about specific incidents that demonstrate his ongoing criminal activity. And you think that's me? I think you witnessed something. I think you know more than you're saying. And I think with your help, we can finally put Vincent Corso in prison where he belongs. Maya looked at Agent Morales. At this woman who believed in law and order and justice through the system. What if I told you that putting Vincent in prison would hurt more people than it helps? Maya said quietly. I'd say you've been listening to his propaganda. Or maybe I've been paying attention. Vincent employs people. He protects neighborhoods. He keeps worse criminals out. If he goes to prison, all of that goes away. And what replaces it? The law. Order. Legitimate business. Or chaos. A power vacuum. Gang wars. Is that better? Agent Morales leaned forward. Miss Williams, I understand that Vincent Corso has been kind to you. That he's protected you. But that doesn't make him a good person. It makes him manipulative. Maybe. Or maybe the world isn't as simple as good people and bad people. It is that simple. Vincent Corso breaks the law. That makes him a criminal. And criminals belong in prison. Maya thought about Vincent's nephew. About the 7-year-old boy who'd been taken because his uncle was a target. She thought about her own mother. About how close she'd come to being dragged into this. She thought about all the people caught in the crossfire of conflicts they didn't understand and didn't choose. I don't know anything useful, Maya said finally. I answered a phone call. That's all. I can't help you. Can't or won't? Does it matter? Agent Morales closed her notebook. Yes. Because can't means you're useless. Won't means you're complicit. Then I guess I'm complicit. You realize what you're doing? You're protecting a criminal. That makes you part of the problem. Or maybe the problem is bigger than one man. Maybe the problem is a system that creates people like Vincent Corso and then acts surprised when they exist. Maya stood up. I can't help you. I'm sorry. She left the coffee shop before Agent Morales could respond. That night, Maya got a call from an unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her pick up. Hello? It's Vincent. How did you know? Know what? That I met with the FBI today. I didn't. But I do now. Maya felt her stomach drop. I didn't tell them anything. I know. Agent Morales called my lawyer. She's frustrated. That usually means the witness didn't cooperate. So you're having me watched. I'm making sure you're safe. There's a difference. Is there? Vincent was quiet for a moment. Maya, I want you to understand something. You don't owe me anything. If you want to cooperate with the FBI, that's your choice. I won't stop you. You could. I could. But I won't. Because you saved my nephew's life. And that debt is bigger than my freedom. Maya sat down on her couch. I don't understand you. You keep saying that. Because it keeps being true. You're a criminal. You hurt people. You break laws. But you also, she stopped. Also what? You also seem to care about honor. About debts. About doing right by people who help you. And I don't know how to reconcile those things. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe people are just complicated. That's not an answer. No. But it's the truth. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Vincent said, the FBI is going to keep coming after you. Keep asking questions. They'll make it difficult to say no. I know. If you change your mind, if you decide to cooperate, I want you to know that I'll understand. I'll make sure nothing happens to you or your mother. You have my word. Your word as a criminal? My word as someone who owes you a debt. Maya closed her eyes. I'm not going to testify. I already decided. Why not? Because Agent Morales is wrong. The world isn't as simple as she thinks. And putting you in prison won't fix anything. It'll just create new problems. That's very pragmatic of you. Or very cynical. I haven't decided which. Does it matter? I don't know. I feel like I should be more certain. Like I should know if I'm doing the right thing. The right thing is usually the one that causes the least harm. You're doing that. Am I? Or am I just choosing one kind of harm over another? Vincent didn't answer. Because they both knew the truth. There was no right answer. No clean choice. No way to walk away from this without compromise. Get some sleep, Maya, Vincent said finally. Tomorrow will be easier. He hung up. Maya sat alone in her apartment, thinking about everything that had happened. About the phone call that had started it all. About the choices she'd made since. About the person she was becoming. She wasn't the same person who'd answered that phone 2 weeks ago. That person had believed in clear lines. In simple morality. In good people and bad people. This person understood that the world was more complicated. That sometimes helping meant getting your hands dirty. That sometimes the right choice felt wrong. And sometimes the wrong choice was the only one that made sense. 3 months later, Maya was serving dinner when Vincent Corso walked into Bella Vista. She saw him through the window before he came in. He was alone this time. No bodyguards. No men in dark suits. Just him. He sat at the counter instead of his usual booth. Maya walked over with a menu. Evening, she said. Evening, Maya. The usual? Please. She brought him water, took his order, and delivered it to the kitchen. When the food came out, she set it in front of him without comment. He ate in silence. When he finished, he left cash on the counter, exact amount plus a generous tip, and stood to leave. At the door, he paused and looked back at her. Thank you, he said. For what? For answering the phone. Then he left. Maya watched him go. She thought about that night 3 months ago. About the call that had changed everything. About how one moment could ripple out in ways no one could predict. She thought about the FBI investigation that had quietly gone cold. About Agent Morales who'd stopped calling. About how the world had kept turning despite everything. She thought about Vincent Corso and his complicated honor. About the lives he'd saved and the lives he'd ruined. About whether those things balanced out or if balance was even possible. And she thought about herself. About the choices she'd made. About the person she'd become. She wasn't proud of everything. But she wasn't ashamed either. She'd done what she thought was right. And she'd lived with the consequences. That was all anyone could do. Maya cleared Vincent's plate and went back to work. Outside, the city continued its endless rhythm. People living. People struggling. People making impossible choices in a world that offered no easy answers. And somewhere in that city, a 7-year-old boy was growing up safe. Because his aunt had answered a phone. Because a waitress had made a choice. Because sometimes, the smallest actions had the biggest consequences. Maya finished her shift and went home. Tomorrow, she'd wake up and do it again. And the day after that. And the day after that. Because that's what survival looked like. Not dramatic. Not heroic. Just one day at a time, one choice at a time, trying to do the least harm. It wasn't the life she'd imagined. But it was hers. And somehow, that was enough.